afternoon. Welcome to the Black Sea. We're currently camped here. We've been here for one night so far. We're not sure how much longer we're going to be here, but the question that we've been asked quite a few times by a number of people is, how does all of this work? How do we make camping in a 50-plus-year-old vintage van work? So we're just going to take a few minutes to go through that, and yeah, we'll just run through various things, kind of modifications and stuff like that, how we fit things together, some of the tools and how the electrics work, and various topics like that. So without further ado, I'll take you into the van and we're going to have a look at that first, and then we'll look at some other things. So as you can see, the van, we've customised the van or modified it. When the van was built back in 1970 and Dormobil converted it, kind of the standard thing that they did was they put a wardrobe here on this side, a wooden wardrobe that took up most of that space, and then on this side there was a cupboard that had a sink and a cooker in it, and then underneath storage space there were two back seats as well as the two front seats. So we've still got the two front seats in, but we've taken out the back seats, we've taken out the wardrobe, we've taken out the sideboard and the kitchen stuff there. And what we've gone for is essentially we've built two sets of drawers on either side. They extend underneath. So at this end here we've got drawers top and bottom. On the left hand side we keep most of our plates and our pans and stuff like that. On the right hand side here we've got various odds and sods. We've got all of our crockery, knives, bits and pieces, useful bits and pieces, electrics, torches and all that sort of stuff is in here. Underneath there's more things like weighing scales, blood pressure monitor and a whole load of other bits and pieces that we use from time to time. So that's essentially our primary storage area. So the other major thing that we've done is we've put in, essentially we've taken an IKEA double bed, we've modified the bed, we've put the bed on rollers so that now we're able to move the bed backwards and forwards fairly easily. And why we've done that is, in the original form, you had to sleep in the van, you had to effectively take everything out of the cab, put the beds down and then make the bed on top, and that was okay, but it's not very flexible. So what we've now got is the ability to operate in what we call three modes. So as you'll see at the moment, we're operating in full camping mode. So we've got the gazebo over there, we've got sort of like our kitchen area, with our cooking equipment and stuff is generally we'll have that out of the van, and we'll take up a fair bit of space in, and the bed will go back over the driver's seat and stuff like that, and we'll take everything out, and we've got lots of space and stuff like that. We've popped the top, so this is one way of doing it. There's kind of a middle ground, and the next way that we would generally do it, which is we did a couple of nights ago when we were up in the mountains and wild camping, is where we would still pop the top, but we wouldn't make the full camp. We might put the table up, but most of the stuff would stay in the van, but the bed would go back and we'd be there. So we'd have a reasonable amount of room, and yeah, but when we do that, we need to feel fairly safe and stuff like that. Then the last type of mode that we operate in is in what we would call stealth mode. So essentially, the bed remains back here. Most of our stuff sits underneath it. The driver's seat and the passenger seat are up. So if we need to make a quick exit, we can do that. And yeah, as I say, most of our stuff, or all of our stuff, will stay in the van with us. And yeah, we wouldn't pop the top in that case, so it'd just be a matter of putting the curtains, getting into bed, having a sleep, and then leaving the next morning. But that's fairly uncomfortable, so we don't generally camp that way. We would prefer to camp this way as we are now. What else is there to say about the van? I think that's it for the minute. I'll pass you over to Juliet now, who's going to talk you through some of the other bits and pieces.
So like James mentioned, we've got various things that fit under the bed, so all of our storage is effectively under the bed, depending on if it's rolled out or rolled in. A couple of things to run through. One is the blue box at the end. This is on rollers. We don't tend to bring this out when we're camping. It's everything that we want when we're driving, so water, food, bags, usual sort of stuff that you would need, and everything just goes in that box and then we know where it is. So we tend to leave that in there. A couple of other things is we've got 2 gas canisters. So we've got one here, one here. So the one that we're using with the orange pipe, and then a spare one. So we've always got gas, then we just need to go and fill the one up that's run out. The last thing just to show you in here is our lovely Turkish rug. We bought this in Konya. It's a real, it really brightens up the van. We love it, so I'll just show you what we've got actually in here under the gazebo. So like I said, everything is on wheels. It's really easy to pull in and out of the van. This is effectively our groceries, so anything that isn't in the fridge goes in this box. We've been using this as a lid because there's a few stray dogs around here, so we're not too sure. If we are worried about dogs, and there has been a lot of stray dogs, we bring it into the van with us at night. So that's that one. We've also got a fridge here. James will explain the electrics on this. It's not currently plugged in because we're using the camp fridge, but we can plug this in, and it sits on here again with wheels, so we can pull it in and out of the van really easily. Then we've also got this box here. This is our, I'd say, our useful box. So it would normally hold our gas folding hob, our electric hob, any power, chairs, that kind of stuff. So everything we need for camping out is in here. And they're the things that go under the bed, followed by the bikes. So every time you see the ready to roll on Instagram or Facebook, and the bikes are the last thing that we put in, is the first thing that we get out. 2 more things just to run through is we've got 2 tables. This is our main cooking table, really useful height for chopping and doing all of that sort of stuff. It's collapsible, fully collapsible. It all collapses down, funny enough, goes under the bed. And then we've got this one here as well, which is just on 2 legs that again just collapses down, and we just use this for somewhere to eat and for working and doing anything else that we need to do, and obviously 2 chairs. One last thing just to go through the gazebo, what we tend to do if we're here for a day or more than a day, just make it a little bit more homey. So we've got a bit of bunting, we've got some solar lights, and depending on where we are, we'll put more lights up or less lights up, but I think we're looking pretty cozy at the moment.
So we're just going to now go through the electrics, some stuff about tools and things like that, and kind of the maintenance of the van, that sort of side of things. So what we've got in the van is we've got on either side, on this side here, we've got kind of this area here, which generally we'll put water, cleaning stuff and all that sort of side of things, and then on this side of the van here, generally we've got all of our tools, things, you know, like bungees, kind of a hammer, great hammer, shovel, camp shovel if we need it. We've got a lot of different things, so we're pretty able to cope with most situations. And things like bungees and stuff like that, various hooks and different things like that. And then on the tools front, we've got, you know, just the standard things like a socket set, but also we've got, we tend to carry pretty much everything that we need to do anything on the van. So we have even things here like a crimping tool to do the electrics should we need to, simple bit of rubber hosing here. This is vital if we need to bleed the brakes, so we can just put that into a plastic bottle and fill the bottle with oil, and then use that to you know, put that on the bleed nipple of the brakes and then bleed the brakes. Just you know, a tool here for doing kind of upholstery and stuff like that. So we've got lots of things. We've even got a big breaker bar should we need to, so good for taking, you know, nuts that have been on for a long time off, and doing wheel nuts and that sort of stuff. We're carrying air filters and that sort of thing. We've got oil under there, so oil for the engine, oil for the gearbox, oil for the transmission, and all of that tends to sit under there on the right in the kind of less accessible thing where we don't need it very often, along with other stuff that's not used very often. We're also carrying 2 axle stands that fold up. Those sit in the front of the engine along with a bottle jack, so we can jack the car up. We can remove all of the wheels. We can and do pretty much lots of jobs on the side of the road. We have got some of the jobs we can't do. So, for instance, if I just jump here, you'll hear that at the moment the suspension is getting very squeaky. So it's not the back's okay, but the front definitely needs some attention. So it's not helping the steering. Feels a little bit loose at the moment, and also our tyres are wearing. So we've got some bushes coming in from the UK that we've ordered, and some other bits and pieces. We're hoping to get those fitted. Probably we'll get those fitted in Turkey when we cross over the border in Turkey. And so some of the things where we need a ramp or something else, then we will go to a garage. But a lot of the stuff we're doing on the side of the road, so oil changing, brakes, all of that sort of stuff is happening on the side of the road. That's probably it on the tools and stuff like that. We'll just talk briefly about the electrics. So when we've converted the van, one of the things that we've done is we've upgraded the electrics. So we're now carrying 2 batteries. They are only at the moment lead acid. We may upgrade those to at least one of them to a lithium ion. So we've got essentially the main battery that starts the engine, and then we've got a leisure battery. There's a relay switch between those two, so when the voltage of the leisure battery drops, we don't drain the starter battery. We've got kind of various sockets. So we've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter, so we use that for things like charging sort of bigger things like this or a laptop or whatever. And then we've got lots of USB sockets. We've got lights all around the van with various switches, different lights and stuff like that, LEDs. We've also got these 2 240 volt sockets. Now, one of the things at the moment is these are powered by external power source, so we're going to change that. We're going to actually put these onto an inverter, because when we go back into Europe, the campsites generally will charge us 5 or more euros a night for electricity, and we might as well use the power that we've got to power the fridge, because the fridge works, although it works off 12 volts and 240. It doesn't really cool on 12 volts. It just kind of fans air. So we'll start running the fridge off 240. Also, there's a few other bits and pieces that we've got that will, like toothbrushes and things like that, that annoyingly charge only from 240 volts. So we'll need to do those. So one of the things I just want to take you around here and just show you, so our setup. So we have solar. So we've got essentially a portable solar kit that plugs in underneath here we've got some terminals underneath here. So at the moment it's generating about 3 amps, which is a decent amount of power, more than enough for us, for our daily needs. And yeah, it's kind of, so we're pretty self-sufficient on the electricity front. So in terms of, I think the overall stuff that we've been through, that's probably it for now. I'm sure there are going to be things that people are going to want to know about how we do things in this particular van. I know myself, I enjoy looking at that van, how other people do it, because I learn from them. Hopefully there's some things that people can learn from what we've done. But yeah, if you've got any comments or any questions or whatever, then please, just post those